I'm feeling it. My bones telling me it's right. It's so different. But when you take me to the light, it's like a cigarette. And I'm burning at your lips. Start so innocent. Then you kick it up and now I want to show you all what you deserve. And know we got so much to learn. And just like when we said I do, and it's only you that can do it like that. Yeah. I like it with you. I like it with you. I like it with you. In the sand that we dance, we ain't got no plans. You, I like it with you. I like it with you. And the hours will melt all night long. I like it when you close all the curtains, taking up the trash and the burdens. We got all the time, ain't no worries. I like it with you in it. And make me take a little look. Can we finish it? And then get busy getting back into the thick of it, yeah. Take a second, breathe it in. Now out again. I'm still understanding just how you do. The magic when you look at me. Know what I'm saying? It inside your seat. Oh, and just like when we said I do, and it's only you who could do like that. It's only you who could do like. I like it with you. I like it with you. I like it with you. In the sand that we dance, we ain't got no plans. You, I like it with you. I like it with you. And the hours will melt all night long. I like it when you close all the curtains, taking up the trash and the burdens. We got all the time, ain't no worries. I like it when you tell me that you love it. And when you pull the strings, I'm a bit. Even when it rains, we above it. I like it with you. I like it with you. I like it with, I like it with you.
We ain't got no plans.
Have you ever felt this? It's a feeling so unheard. When every time I hear your voice, like my feelings having no choice. When every time I When every time I hear your voice, like my feelings having no choice. And every time I hear your voice, I wish I could remember. All I want is take me down. All this time I've been trapped in, not knowing where my heart is. I've been telling myself to stop. Just make me whole.
monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side. I'm coming, you know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. If you go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel for tonight's action here on Assetto Corsa Competizione in the GT3 Championship. We are back here tonight at COTA, the world famous circuit of the Americas, the home of the US Grand Prix, and one of the more exciting and challenging circuits on the calendar. It's a high tyre deck circuit. We can be expecting so a lot of management having to be occurring today in terms of the tyres. From the drivers out on track, and strategy I think will come into it. It'll be about who can make the tyres last the longest. Probably see a few split strategies tonight here as well, but nonetheless, welcome along to everybody tuning in live on YouTube at the moment. If you guys are watching us for the first time, then be sure to head over to www.motiveracing.co.uk. Oh shoot, I need to actually reconnect the domain. Sorry, do apologise for that. Forget what I just said there. Yeah, obviously I'll be putting that. You can actually, that will be going live later on, so keep an eye out for that because we'll be reconnecting the domain after this. Yeah, here we are then. We are just getting into the early stages of the qualifying session at the moment. Just going to quickly switch my HDMI cable over to the PS5 so we now can properly get underway in earnest and start showing you some of the drivers on their qualifying laps. But yeah. COTA, eh? It's been the site of a few exciting ones over the seasons. One race I remember vividly was when we had 2 tiers a few seasons ago. We had a driver called Henry who managed to do the whole race on one set of tyres. And on the last lap, his tyres were hanging on by a thread, literally, and he was limping around to the flag. It was the craziest finish ever. And I think he just held on for the win by about 1 second, and bear in mind he had been leading for about 20 seconds with about 5 laps left to go, so it was a nail-biting finish. But yeah, it's one of those tracks where you can see a lot of differential in terms of the strategy, so it'll be interesting to see what strategies people adopt here tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. But right now we've got most drivers out on the track, obviously early stages in the qualifying session at the moment. PS5's the first driver to set a lap time there at 2:06.6. He's currently ahead of Sean. Ludo goes to the top of the pile there on a 2:06.4. Ludo, let's not forget, this man was the dominant winner last week at Silverstone. Absolutely ran away into the distance. And he'll be looking to try and do the same here this week, but he'll have a stiff test because he's got drivers like Jazzman and Tynus, our 2 seasoned domination drivers, who obviously until this season were permanent drivers in the championship. This season they're competing in another league, which is fortnightly, so they'll be here every other week basically when they're not racing in that league. So they'll be here when they can, but they're not going to be in the championship battle unless unless one of them wins every single race, then they might have an outside chance. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Ludo's pace from last week can transfer over to this week with obviously those 2 back on the track. But currently he's on provisional pole position at the moment by just under 0.2 of a second. PS5's sat in 2nd place. Tony Zero, last season's runner-up in the championship, is currently 3rd at the moment, just under half a second off of the provisional pole time. Matev 4th, with Sean currently in 5th place. Remster in 6th ahead of his teammate Snoopy in 7th. Cosmic Mike's at 8th with Scooter Red Bull 9th. Lol 3000, the only other driver, the 10th driver to have set a lap time so far in this qualifying session. The times are going to be coming in thick and fast over the course of this qualifying session because there's less than 10 minutes to go, and there's not going to be blessed with space out on the track to be able to get that laps in. There's 28 cars out there, so there's plenty of people out there who are going to be looking for a bit of space to try and do their lap without getting any interference from other drivers as they're going around. So plenty of drivers will be looking to just leave a bit of a gap in front of them before they start their flying laps. But Ludo, your provisional pole is coming into the final part of the lap. He's currently got some traffic in front of him as well. I'm not quite sure who that is at the moment, but nonetheless, let's see if Ludo can improve on his 2:06.4. Oh no, he's gone wide there. Or was he backing off to try and get some space here? I think he might have been, but nonetheless, he'll be coming around in a second to start another lap here. As Sean's gone into 5th place. That's a good lap from Sean. He gets himself within 2 seconds of the provisional pole time, still being set by Ludo. Remster moves himself up into P5 there with that last lap of his. As we can see a few more drivers coming over the line in the background. Lobby 1000 goes into P10, pushes Scooter Report out of the top 10. There's Thomas there. Wow, look at that. From nowhere, Thomas has just gone into P1, so he's just done a 205. First driver into the 205s in this session. That's nothing to be sniffed at. That is a fantastic lap time there from Thomas, and he's going to be pretty chuffed with that, I'm sure. Obviously, relatively new to Motive is Thomas. Joined us midway through last season in a couple of races as a reserve. This is his first full season competing as a full-time driver, and he's looking to really take it to these guys here. Obviously, I think I don't know. I can't remember where he's from. I can't remember if he's from the UK or the USA. I think he's one or the other. I believe it's. I might be completely wrong there. It might not even be an English-speaking country. But I don't know. I'm not gonna. To be fair, I don't know. Not 100% sure. But Thomas doing a fantastic job out here tonight. I believe he made his debut at Watkins Glen last season, and he was a very, very strong debut. I believe he was in the top 5. So when you jump into a league like Motive, which is, it's not easy coming into this league. There's a lot of drivers who really know what they're doing. They've done this for a long time. So when you jump in and you have such a strong result, you're kind of destined for good things. You know that you're going to have a good chance of getting some really strong results. But yeah, Thomas currently provisional pole. Robe's gone into second place, less than 0.3 of a second off of the provisional pole time as he parks it by the side of the road for the time being. Got Raki in the comments, says, good evening all, corner cutting hell tonight. Hopefully not corner cutting hell, to be honest with you. It's there'll be plenty of advantages being taken, but fingers crossed the track limits will do their job, which they're supposed to do, and prevent there from being too many liberties taken. Micro J says, good luck to all the Simplay drivers. Obviously Simplay being represented tonight by Matahimovic, Daz Automatic, Hypertech out there as well, and Gary also with us. Oh, and the Mutts Nuts, I think, has also been dragged along as well. Mutts Nuts, well, to be fair, I wouldn't call him a Simplay driver as such, because he was actually a Motive racer before he was a Simplay racer. But obviously nowadays he's been very much sort of with them. I watch their streams every now and then. I see him, he's usually racing out on track when I watch their streams. And good to see the Mutts Nuts back out on tracks. It's been a little while. He raced with us on Project Cars 2 back in the day, also F1. He's raced with us on all of our titles that we've ever run championships on. He's raced with us on, he's the only, I think, one of the only drivers to have actually raced with us on every title. I know Emo Guy holds that accolade as well, so does Totally Zero. There's not many drivers who have raced with us on all 3 titles. Obviously we've raced on ACC, Project Cars 2 and F1 in our nearly 4 years that we've been here at Motive. What else have we got in the comments? We got Zilla Bang says, hi guys, good luck tonight. Obviously that's Ericode there, who is out on track as well. Ericode is, where is he on the leaderboard? He's currently sat in 22nd, still yet to do a lap at the moment. Actually needs to get his skates on. We got Jazzman says, hello Andy. Oh, Jazzman, good to see you. We got Joseph in there saying, good luck everyone. And JR says, good evening, I'm twice as fast as Jazzman. Twice as fast. By twice as fast, do you mean that your lap times are twice as long? His words, not mine. Evening Andy says, Jeffy O'Dog. And Drew says, James Harris. Hello, welcome James Harris. Jeffy O'Dog, welcome along. Never seen him before either. Motive League, guys, at the front is amazing pace in the 206 and below. Credit to them, says Zillabang. Indeed, yeah, it's incredible standards here. I mean, I'd be expecting also Jazzman and Tynus to be in that bracket as well, but we don't know yet. Obviously, we'll get into the race and we'll find out. But it'll be interesting to see how they can fight their way back through the pack, because those two, they this season they're doing a last to first challenge at every race, because they're obviously incredible drivers, and typically they do occupy the top 2 spots more often than not. But this season, because they're racing as reserves and they're not part of the championship, they're going to be trying to go from the back of the grid every. Hopefully the ping sorts itself out there, because that's utterly ridiculous. Might have just been the driver I was watching there. Might have just been Thomas, to say the least. Just going to have to try and talk through this and try and ignore the fact that the server, that ping is increasing. Okay, now it's settled down a bit, so fingers crossed that was just a blip. But they're pretty much most of the drivers are out on track here at the moment, barring the bottom 8 drivers, and also Cosmic Mike is in the pits at the moment. Everybody else is out there trying to improve their lap time. But coming towards the end of the qualifying session here, and we got JR says, oi cheeky, hope you're well please, and send that our love from me, Lorna and Izzy. I will do, and hopefully you and the family are doing brilliantly as well. I've seen some of your streams actually, I keep meaning to pop in and say hi. Next time I see you streaming on ACC on the PC, I'll jump in and say hello. I've watched a few of your streams, but I haven't had a chance to comment because I'm usually on the TV, and obviously on the TV you can't comment. But yeah, next time I'll drop in and say hi. We've got and he says, okay, I'll pack it in probably 3 times as fast. Ericode, plan to follow Jazzman and Tyrus through the pack. Yeah, that's going to be easier said than done there, Ericode. As James Harris has just deleted his comment, not sure what that's all about. I don't know what he wrote, but anyway, be cool to see you. But yeah, I'll definitely jump in, JR, because I've seen you're really putting in the views on ACC and also the likes as well. You're doing fantastically. Obviously, I remember Project Cars 2. You kind of like got me into commentating in the first place, so it's only right that you've managed to create such a strong following on your channel, because I would not have got into commentating properly if it wasn't for you. So I know I was the one who started in the public lobby comms, but you're the one who made it serious. So yeah, it's cool to see that you've got that really thriving at the moment. And Fury's granddad says, come on, Simplay drivers. Oh, where's Fury? Is Fury here? He's not here. He's welcome to join. Actually, if any of the Simplay drivers have got, if Fury wants to join, you feel free to give him the password. We have got 1 space left, but Fury's granddad, that's a man I've not seen on here for a long time. Welcome back, Fury's granddad. And also we've got Jeffrey O'Dog saying, dude, that's not cool. I don't know what he's talking about. JR, I have your IP, says James Harris. I don't think you do, James. Sorry about James, everybody. I haven't the foggiest who he is. But he's come out of nowhere. But JR there, enjoying the bants nonetheless there. But closing stages of the qualifying session here for the GT3 Championship Round 4 here at Motive, here at COTA, and it's currently Thomas who's still sat on provisional pole on a 205.7. He's 0.4 of a second of a gap over Robe at the moment. Ludo sat in 3rd place as he's coming through the final corner. Can he improve here at the end of the session? Obviously, last week's runaway winner at Silverstone, looking to try and make it back-to-back wins if he possibly can. Here he comes up towards the line. Is it the first line or the second line? I can't remember. I don't know. Still don't know because he didn't improve. Oh, it's PS Vids. Goes to the top of the leaderboard there. A 205.7, 12 thousandths of a second quicker than Thomas. So that is an incredibly close leaderboard there between those two. But PS Vids by 12 milliseconds is now your provisional pole sitter, and Thomas has bailed to the pits. Well, he's not bailed to the pits, but he's finished his lap, and that is his session done. So Thomas is going to be starting P2 at best here. PS Vids has stolen the show right at the end. Can anybody else try and dethrone PS Vids here? Robe's out there on a lap, but Ludo's also on his final run of the session as well. Totally Zero's just over a second off at the pace. Senna, massive shout out to him. Haven't talked about him so far in this qualifying session. He is currently 6th in this session on his ACC debut here at Motive Racing tonight. We have never seen this man race at Motive ever before, but he's making an absolutely fantastic account of himself so far, I have to say, as he's coming into the final corner right now. And obviously our F1 Championship leader on a Friday night on the EA Sports F1 game. And yeah, really making a good inception here to ACC. Doesn't improve on his final run. P6 would be a fantastic starting position for him though, if he can hold on to it. As Robe's now pitted. He did improve at the end, but he got within 0.2 of a second of PS Vids. Not close enough to take pole though. What about Ludo? He's coming into the final sector. He's currently 4th place in this qualifying session right now. Totally Zero is also coming into the final sector. He is just a few corners ahead of Totally Zero at the moment. Sorry, sorry, Totally Zero is a few corners ahead of Ludo, should I say. Here comes Totally Zero then, into the penultimate corner. Just got 1 corner to go. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him, but he won't reach it before he finishes the lap. But he's coming into the pits, so that's Totally Zero done. What about Ludo? He's got 2 corners to go. This man's 0.7 of a second off of the provisional pole time. He's staying out on the track, which it would be indicative of him improving his lap time. But how much is he going to improve it by here? Up towards the line he comes. Ludo crosses over now. P4, not good enough. Improves by 0.2, not enough to move himself ahead of any of the drivers who were ahead of him on that leaderboard. So PS Vids, Thomas, Robe and Ludo, your top 4, with Totally Zero and Senna. Matimovic, Remster and Mary Louise completing the top 10. And then you've got Archie in 11th ahead of Coddalungu, followed by Sean, Snoopy. Gary in 15th ahead of Lexi Mate, followed by Cosmic Mike. Lol3000 ahead of Scooter Report and Daz Automatic. Then you've got Cosmic Crusader ahead of Ericode. Tynus in the house will start down in 23rd place, so didn't actually have to start at the back, despite the fact that he didn't qualify because a few other drivers didn't get laps in. So Tynus will start 23rd, Ibertech 24th, Chris 25th. Jazzman, Tynus' big rival, will start 26th. That already gives Tynus a bit of an advantage here over Jazzman before we've even got going. Nuts 27th, and Glenn will start in 28th for this one. But here we are then, guys. We are moments away from the start of this round 4 of the GT3 Championship here. We got Fury says, Fury still hacked off with the treatment he got at Monza. Oh no. I mean, yeah, no, I do remember that actually. That was quite catastrophic. We also got James, who's deleted another message, not sure why. Drew, you snake, man like PS5. Go, says Jeff Video Dog. Raki Majay, shout out to the lads, Scooter, Paul, Glenn, and Chris. James Harris keeps deleting his comments, honestly, mate. Just, you know, get off the fence. Oi, good luck to Cod and Paul. Good luck to the Simplay drivers on the track, says JR. JR, how old are you? God's sake. Let's go, Raki, mate, says JR. Hi, says Totally Zero. JR ducking me, says James Harris. Did Jazz do qualifying? No, so Jazzman and Tynus are both starting at the back. They've decided not to do qualifying, but they're doing it every race this season. Because they're racing as reserves, they're not signed up to the championship. They're doing a last to first challenge every week, so they're not going to be qualifying any times this season. Hey JR, do you have a night off, says Raki. JR says, yeah, not doing tonight, pal, just watching the boys race tonight. Obviously it's good to sit back and watch every once in a while. I know that feeling. I've been doing this now for, God, ages. 5 years. I've been commentating instead of racing. Saying that, I did carry on racing for a while, but I don't know. I plan on getting it back into racing at some point, but I'm enjoying the commentating right now. It's kind of how I do things at the moment. Who knows? You know, never say never to getting back into racing. I need to get a wheel first, because I've obviously the GT3 Championship here for round 4 at Circuit of the Americas. We've got lots of comments coming in tonight. Many people watching as well. 14 of you currently watching live on YouTube. Also, if anyone's watching on Facebook, then be sure to check out our YouTube stream. Our links are all on the Facebook page. You can find a Discord on the Facebook. If you're watching on Twitter, there's links to our website everywhere again, so you can check out the stream on YouTube, which is the best place to watch. I've got to say, that's where all the comments are. That's where it all happens. That's where it all goes down, is on the YouTube stream. So if you're watching on either of those platforms, Facebook or Twitter, then definitely head over to YouTube and watch on there. But nonetheless, we are underway for the formation lap here. PS Fit's leading us around for this one, and it's his first pole position since Laguna Seca, I believe, last season. I think it was the second to last round, third to last round of the season it was last season. We were without Jazzman and Tynus that particular night, and PS Fit, it was a lights to flag win. It was quite an easy one, really, to be honest. He did say after the race he felt like it was a bit of a hollow one with the absence of Jazzman and Tynus, but nonetheless, you've got to take your opportunities when they're handed to you on a plate, and he certainly did that. Nice, and enjoying Andy commentating, says Rocky. Oh, bless you. JR always does one of the best. Come on, Simplay drivers, says PM Motorsport. Obviously, I've mentioned earlier on, Simplay are represented by Matahimovic, Daz Automatic, Ibertech, and Mutts Nuts, as well as, oh god, wait, we've lost a driver. Somebody's retired already from the race. Gary, no, Gary's there. Gary qualified higher up right at the end, so we've lost the driver already on the formation lap. Hopefully whoever it is gets himself back in. But yeah, Simply have got 5 drivers out on track tonight. They are pretty well represented. JR, do you race professionally, says Jeff the O-Dog. He races on ACC on the PC and iRacing, I think, as well. Don't know about professionally in real life. But Codalunga in the pits, so he's going to be starting this one, obviously with a bit of a disadvantage. I don't think he readied up at the start, either that or he's just retired because he needed to change something on the car. But he'll be starting from the back. Would have started in 11th place. It's going to be an uphill battle for him, but I'm sure he's up to the challenge here. Obviously, Codalunga, a Run DJC driver as well, member of JR's team, incidentally. coincidentally. I don't know. But yeah, that's not the best of starts to the night for Codalungu, but we've got a 1 hour race ahead of us with a mandatory pit stop as well, so plenty of chances to get back into it. JR says stock car and autograss racing a long time ago. I didn't know that. No, I did. I did. I think I kind of knew it. I didn't know what categories, but I remember you saying you'd raced real cars before. When we used to play Project Cars too. But yeah, this is it. And we are about to go once again for the GT3s here this season. It's a long formation lap. It's a lot of waffling that I have to do in between the start of the formation lap and the actual start of the race. But nonetheless, PS Vids and Thomas are going to be the two at the front row to get us on the way. It was PS Vids who stole pole position at the dying embers of the session by 12 milliseconds from Thomas. So these two are going to be quite evenly matched, you would have thought, over the course of the race. Who's going to be half tanking it, who's going to be full tanking it, and who's going to be changing tyres. That's also going to play a huge factor here, because those who are changing tyres will spend longer in the pits and will lose more time in the pits, but will then make that time up towards the end of the race with their fresher tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out here. But up towards the line here at Circuit of the Americas to start the fourth round of the GT3 Championship here for Season 7 on the PlayStation 5 at Motive. Up towards the line we go. It'll be green, 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 and it's underway. We are racing here as we've got Snoopy there, who's got a drive-through penalty already for jumping the start, but PS Vids as leading us into turn one. Thomas looking around the outside there, and he's got a bit of a run, and PS Vids just squeezes him out there, says no, don't think about that one, Thomas. He holds on there going into turn two, but PS Vids managing to keep onto that one. It was a close call there as they made contact, as they now come through in towards the S's for the first time. Robe appears to have lost a place here to a Porsche, so Robe's dropped behind Totally Zero. Totally Zero's up into third place. Robe there ahead of Ludo, who's dropped down to P5 as well, so Totally Zero making a cracking start to this race. Senna there running in P6 ahead of Mata, followed by Remster, with Mata Himovic and Archie completing the top 10. Codalungu's still yet to leave the pit lane at the moment. And you've got Sean ahead of Mary Louise with Snoopy, who's got that drive-through penalty. Lexi Mate ahead of Scooter and Paul. Gary running in 16th place at the moment. He's currently attacking on the back of Scooter and Paul here. He's looking to the inside. Oh, and there's contact there! And Scooter and Paul getting tagged there, but actually getting held up by Lol 3000, who was coming through there. So Lol 3000 saving Scooter and Paul from spinning out. As Lol 3000 now looking up the inside of Scooter and Paul. Tynus in the meantime has made up 8 places already. Do we expect anything less at this point? If those of you who aren't aware, 2 weeks ago at Kyle Army, he went from the back of the pack to win the race. He's already made up 8 places on this opening lap. This man is insanely talented behind the wheel of a sim racing car. But yeah, he's currently having an absolute barnstormer of a start to this race. PS Vitso leading ahead of Thomas. We have Totally Zero in third place at the moment. Then you've got Robe in fourth, ahead of Ludo. Senna there in P6. Matev ahead of Remster. Oh, it's Mate Himovic has spun out there. Mate Himovic is off onto the runoff area, and he's going to get it spun back around, but he's going to lose time. He's going to lose a load of places there as well. And Mate Himovic race has kind of been just dropped on its head a little bit there. And I haven't seen the position he's dropped down to just yet, but he's a long way down the order at this point. I want to apologise for the ping issues that we're experiencing in the server at the moment. I'm not quite sure. I think it's on my end. I believe it's on my end. I don't actually know why, because my internet should be fine. I've got a 4G broadband hub which has worked perfectly fine for the last 2 months, and suddenly in the last week it's just decided fuck it. But Robe is attacking on the outside of Totally Zero, but Totally Zero holds that one on the inside for the time being. Robe can't find a way around him at this particular point. Ludo just waiting in the background there. Fast lap of the race from Ludo on that previous lap. Senna's keeping with these guys as well here. Senna showing he's got the pace, and he's clearly put in the work. He's to come in within 3 laps of when that was issued, otherwise he will get an even bigger penalty as a result. Titus is currently attacking on the back of him right now. Come on, this ping issue is now getting a bit old. Come on, let's move on to the next big thing. Come on, let's fucking move on. Come on. Archie now is coming out of the pits. It lasted about 2 seconds during qualifying, and then once the race is underway, it's been going on now for over 2 minutes. Are you actually kidding me? 1,700 ping. Are you fucking taking the piss? What the fuck is going on? PS Vids nonetheless leading the race by nearly 2 seconds here ahead of Thomas. There's Totally Zero, Robe, Ludo, Senna the top 6. They're pulling away consistently from the rest of them. You've got Matev there running in 7th place ahead of Remster. Mary Louise there. Tynus now into the top 10 ahead of Snoopy. PS5 though still leading as they come in. Snoopy into the pits here at the end of lap 2. Glenn here looking down the inside of Chris into turn 1. He's a bit too far back at the moment. He's not going to make that one happen. Attacking on the back of Thomas. In this battle for second place. Drive through cleared there for Snoopy. Obviously we knew about that. Who do you think wins, Drew? Says James. It's difficult to say at the moment. I think Tynus has got a good chance because he's a very quick driver and he's already gone from the back to 9th place. He's really made light work of those in front of him. PS5 has got a chance. No, I reckon Tynus has got to be the favourite. Although saying that, Tynus has got damage on the front of the car. You can see there he's taken a bit of a battering there on the front bumper, so maybe that could be affecting the performance of the car a little bit. It certainly will later on. So I don't know, that might be a bit of a drawback for him, but yeah, it's got to be, I'd say Tynus or PS5 is probably going to win this race. I would have said Jazzman before the race. He's already been into the pits, so actually he might have a chance because obviously it's a mandatory pit stop, so everybody's got to come in at least once and stop on their jacks. So that will kind of even itself out. Those who've pitted. Scooter report on the back of Lol 3000 is about P12 at the moment. Things just briefly return to normal. Hopefully it stays like that, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I have a feeling it's probably just going to return back to what it was again in a second. 12. I'm going to try and ignore that number in the bottom left corner. I'm just going to try and look at it. Cosmic Mike here into the pits at the end of lap 3. So they're still over the back of Thomas here in about for second place, but still can't make a move at the moment. Thomas has been holding this one on for a considerable while now, and he's not showing any signs of faltering under the pressure. Rove's dropped off to these a little bit, a second and a half behind. Ludo and Senna. It's about 6 or 7 seconds covering the top 6 drivers here. They've got a bit of a gap back to Matov. Tynus is not far off the lead at all. I'd say he's about 12 seconds off of the lead, and we're only on lap 4. And he started from the... Lunga's closed up onto the back of Glenn here. He's looking down the inside into the end of the back straight, but he's a bit too far back just there. Jazzman in well within a second. Into the braking zone. No, Sean's holding on. No, sorry, Jazzman's already got ahead of him. So, sorry. Timing board there throwing me off. And there was me getting caught, not actually looking at the track and looking at the timing board. Sorry about that, everybody. As Tynus here moves ahead of Matov into turn 1. Around the outside he goes. That's job done. They're a cluster, I would say. PS5's got 2.5 seconds to Thomas. Thomas is right just ahead of Totally Zero. Rove's on the back of him. Ludo not too far away with Senna following him in tow at the moment. So Tynus is going to be on the fringes of that pack in a second. Just bear with for 2 minutes while I just check something, because I think I might know what's causing these ping issues. 1 2 1 2 audio check. Hello everybody, welcome back. Sorry about that. Our ping was playing up a bit. I don't know if it's going to be a persistent issue. We're just going to have to try and get on with it and try and ignore the cars sliding around, drifting around the corners and doing somersaults everywhere. And just try and get on with it. But currently got PS Fids leading the race. Still 4 seconds ahead of Thomas at the moment. You've got Totally Zero still on the back of Thomas. Still hasn't been able to make that move. But whilst we were just on a quick break there, we've seen Tynus move through ahead of both Senna and Matev into 5th place. Senna's now 2 seconds adrift of Tynus, but Tynus is all over the back of Ludo here in the battle for 4th place. And these guys 6 seconds behind the podium battlers at the moment. Totally Zero's got a drive-through penalty for, I assume, track limits, which is going to affect him quite badly here. Tynus down the inside of Ludo at the end of the back straight, makes the move there up into 4th place. That's job done there for Tynus. But Ludo's come back at him on the exit and he's trying to go around the outside here as Ludo swoops around him through the stadium section. They're still side by side. Ludo's really giving Tynus a bit of a fight here. Tynus is going to try and hang it around the outside for the exit. And he's going to get a lovely run there, is Tynus. Looking to the outside, but Ludo parks it on the inside, hugs that curb, and is going to keep on to 4th place by the skin of his teeth there. Thought Tynus had that one done going into the end of the back straight, but Ludo never say die and manages to hang in there for the time being. Tynus still right at the back of him, and this has brought Senna back into play here a little bit in this fight. And that could be a three-way fight for 4th place if Tynus doesn't clear Ludo quickly here. As Totally Zero into the pits at the end of lap 8 to do a drive-through penalty for track limits, we believe. But I just want to apologise for anyone. We just had to duck out for about 5 minutes due to some issues with the server. But I think they're okay now. It just, in the end, quite a simple fix. Just leave and come back, and it appears to be okay for now. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. That's all we can do, really, to be honest. But yeah. Snoopy here looking to try and keep ahead of Codlinga, but Codlinga swoops around his outside there into turn 1. Codlinga up into 14th place. That's a nice move there from Cod. I know a lot of the drivers in front of him are pitted, but he's just been quietly creeping himself into contention here over the course of this race as these two get up to the power out of the back straight. And Mutts Nuts might have a good chance here down the back straight of making a move into the heavy braking zone at the end of it, as he's got a bit of slipstream here. But it seems like the McLaren just has the legs over the Ferrari in a straight line, despite the Mutts Nuts having the slipstream. It's not really giving him too much to work with at this point. Chris says, had a drive through plus 30 seconds by lap 6, so my race is done. That's a shame, Chris. Obviously I understand where you're coming from. It's always worth sort of carrying on, because you could score some good points and gain a bit of experience, but I do understand sometimes it can feel quite futile staying out there under those circumstances. Jazzman's done well. He's got ahead of Scooter Red, Paul, Codalunga and Snoopy, who are all still yet to pit. Jazzman, having made his pit stop, is the highest pit stopped runner. I don't know where he is in by just over 5 seconds. BS Vids' gap to Tynus is 13 seconds at the moment, so Tynus obviously spending a few laps stuck behind the likes of Ludo and Senna has actually cost him quite a lot to the race leader at the moment, but still plenty of time in this race, still a long way to go. If Kyle Army this season is anything to go by, Tynus will not waste any time messing about trying to make his way through. So keep your eyes peeled, because this one's still going to continue to try and chip away at the leader. In the meantime, Senna closing up on the back of Ludo a little bit. That gap's now under a second between those two, so Senna keeping Ludo on his toes a little bit here in 4th and 5th places. Mutts Nuts still can't make the move on low 3000 at the moment, just under half a second between those two at the moment. These to 10 seconds clear of the highest pit stops driver at the moment, Jazzman, who's running in 12th place. The next highest pit stop driver is Archie, who's closing up onto the back of Snoopy, who's still yet to pit. You've got Sean there, 6 seconds behind Archie. Matt Imovic also has pitted. He's running in 18th place at the moment. His friend from Simplate, Gary, is just closing up on Glenn, who's also still yet to pit. Gary running in 20th, having pitted early on. Totally Zero, having done his drive-through a few laps ago, is now running in 8th place. He's on the back of Remster. He's looking down the inside through the stadium section. A bit of contact there as he tries to force his way through and actually backs out of it there. Good sportsmanship there from Totally Zero, probably acknowledging that he had been a little bit aggressive there, and allows Remster to continue on his way. There's a bit of an argy-bargy type of move there between them, but Remster still 7th at the moment. Totally Zero still 8th. Mutsnuts is still keeping the 3000 under pressure here, as these two closing up onto the back of Leximate. It's battle for 9th, 10th and 11th places here. Let's tell. And a half a second between Snoopy and Archie at the moment as well. Gary's got Glenn just behind him because Gary's made the move on him. Obviously Gary's been into the pits already. Glenn's still yet to pit. These two on different strategies at the moment. As Leximate's got a drive-through penalty, so I imagine track limits being the probably the indiscretion for that one. Senna's dropped off at the back of Ludo a little bit, just under 2 seconds between those two at the moment. Matev a few seconds further back there in P6. But Leximate will have to come into the pits, well, probably this lap, but if not then a lap or two after. Mutsnuts still can't make this move on Lol 3000 though at the moment, still as you were between these two in 10th and 11th. Totally Zero though getting the job done on Remster up into 7th place now, after his drive-through penalty a few laps ago. Remster coming into the pits here, so is Leximate. So these two coming in one after the other. That releases Lol 3000 and the Mutsnuts into clean air as these two continue to battle what's now 8th place instead of 10th. Leximate not coming in for a pit stop, he's coming in for a drive-through to get that one done and out of the way. Remster coming in for a scheduled stop. Mutsnuts still all over the back of Lol 3000 at the moment as they're going through the S's. Back to the battle for 8th place currently. Lol 3000 still occupying that 8th spot. Mutsnuts right with him as Jazzman here is now arriving on the scene, and Jazzman, having pitted already, has got the pace over these guys considerably. Manoeuvre for Jazzman. The Mutsnuts will know he's on a different strategy, and that is in fact Jazzman up into 9th place with a relatively easy move there down the inside. And not much the Mutsnuts could have done about that one. We've got Senna into the pits as well at the end of lap 12, so He's the first of the top 10 to come in. Oh, Lexi Mate there running wide coming out of turn 1 and loses his place there to Matimovic, who didn't need a second imitation there. Matimovic moves up into P16. Lexi Mate still yet to pit as well, having had a drive-through penalty which has really wrecked his race up to this point. Matimovic, we don't know where he's going to be whilst all is said and done, but I imagine he'll be well inside the top 10 once everybody's made their mandatory pit stops. 3000 still running just ahead of the Nuts at the moment as they're going down the back straight. It's still a sandwich between Snoopy and Archie. Keeping an eye on Thomas and Tynus because the gap is 2 seconds. Tynus is only 10 seconds now off of the lead. About 10 minutes ago, the gap was 13 seconds between PS5 and Tynus. Tynus has gained 3 seconds on him over the last 10 minutes or so. We've got 30 minutes left. If Tynus were to gain 3 seconds every 10 minutes, he would be almost on the back of PS5 as we're starting the final lap of the race. Long way to go yet, but if PS5 stays consistent, he might make his pole position into a victory here tonight. It's a long way to go, as I said before, but it's possible that PS5 could win this race with Tynus still tearing through the pack. It's still possible. Tynus has just picked off some traffic there, a McLaren and a Mercedes. It's Hypertech there. Eric Oden Hypertech there just being up there by Tynus. Yeah, gap just over 10 seconds between PS5 and Tynus, so the race is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Not sure what the strategies are with the fuel or tyres or anything like that, so we don't know if anybody's planning on going the whole race on one set of tyres. This will all kind of come out in the wash as the race develops. Generally, you can assume drivers who come in at around this point are half tanking it, because the halfway point is very advantageous to come in at this point if you're running 2 sets of tyres, because if you want to change tyres, you get the same benefit off of each stint if you come in banging the halfway point, so it makes the most sense. Doesn't look like any of the front runners are coming slightly beyond. There's a bit of a decoy as Scooter and Paul still ahead of Archie. Archie, though, he's moved ahead of Snoopy now. Archie now knocking on the door of a P10 here. Scooter and Paul still yet to pit. Surely Archie will be able to pick him off quite easily, you would have thought, at this stage. And Snoopy there running a bit wide. Archie trying to swoop around the outside here as they come into the final sector. But Archie clinging onto that one on the inside for now. Gold 3000 into the pits, so is the Mutts. Gets them all over the marbles there. Snoopy there moving through back ahead of him there. Archie gets a bit of a tap in the rear as well from Kodalungu, who's trying to force his way back through. But Lol 3000 and the Mutts, these two have been battling for a while, are both in the pits at the same time, so I would have thought they're both half tanking it and probably changing tyres, fuel in. Maybe the Nuts isn't, so Nuts now well on his way. Lolvivarden still hasn't moved a muscle yet from that pit box. Are the pit stops fixed? No. So you spend longer in the pit box if you end up changing tyres or putting fuel in. So there's a strategy to be sort of made in the races. There is jeopardy if you change tyres. But Tynes there is now ahead of Thomas. So Thomas must have made a mistake because that gap was over 2 seconds the last time I looked. So Thomas has clearly dropped it or had an incident or just run wide somewhere. Tynes now running in second place. And PS Vids is into the pits here, so is PS Vids half tanking it? That could be a big one here. Because if he is, then he'll probably be changing tyres, and then he'll have to pace over Tynes and Thomas at the end. But it will mean that he'll lose time over the course of this pit window, so he'll be way back on the others. And he will suddenly become the hunter after having been the hunted since the start of this race, having led since the early stages. But PS Vids currently sat in his box at the moment. Tynes just over a second ahead of Thomas at the moment. Now that you're your new race leader, is he now going to see this one out, or is PS Vids going to come back at them on his fresh tyres at the end of the race? That's going to be a fascinating one to watch in the closing stages here. Archie in the meantime now attacking on Scooter Paul. In fact, he's got ahead of him, so Archie's now running 8th place. He's picked off this train of cars. Scooter Paul, Snoopy, Kodalungu's got a drive through for track limits, so he's going to come in at some point in the next 3 laps. He's going to come in sooner rather than later and get it done and out of the way. No, he's staying out for the time being. They've got Sean closing in on them, Matt Inrich not too far away either. Senna having been into the pits. He's dropped way back. I think Senna's still getting used to the pit stops on ACC. He hasn't figured out how to do the strategy yet. I've generally been in the same boat whenever I've done races at ACC. So Senna, he was in P6 before the pit stops, but he's in a net about a net P10, something like that at the moment. So he has lost places. He's totally zeroed back out onto the track, having done his pit stop. Where is he in relation to Archie? He's way behind Archie. He's come out behind that trio who've still yet to pit of Snoopy, Paul and Kodalungu. He's also come out behind Sean, Matimovic, and he's come out just ahead of Leximate. So Senna running in P13, but he'll jump Snoopy, Paul and Cod once they come in. I reckon he's in a net P10, so I was right when I speculated on that one. Matto into the pits here at the end of lap 16. Tynes still out the front, still doing the business right now, but just under 3 seconds ahead of Thomas, so pulling away since having got ahead of him a few laps ago. Jazzman's pitted already, so where's he going to come out in relation to these? PS Vids has come in, he's got fresh tyres on as well, so he's going to have to pace over the guys in front of him in these closing stages. He's currently 11 seconds behind Jazzman. Let's keep an eye on the pace difference between Jazzman and PS Vids, because this could be crucial. Or it will be crucial, there is no doubt. Oh, Scooter and Paul having a bit of a moment there going into the pits. Not sure what happened there, if there was a bit of contact with Kodalungu maybe. But those two coming in. Matto's just coming out of the pits now, having done his mandatory. But Kodalungu coming in for a drive-through. He's not coming in for a pit stop. Scooter and Paul stopping in his box. In the meantime, we've got a battle going on here for 17th place between the Mutts Nuts and Robe, as they're coming into turn 1. Robe's had quite an anonymous race here in this one. Hasn't really been figuring in it much. Was up there in the first stint, but since the pit stops has been nowhere. Not sure what happened to him. Kodalungu's done his drive-through and is back out on the track. Still with his pit stop to do, obviously. Scuderia pulls out of his pit box and he's off and away. Oh, Nuts has got a drive-through penalty for track limits. Robe's still trying to find a way through on him at the moment. That's a shame there for the Nuts. He'll have to come in pretty soon in the next 3 laps to get that done. That's going to be frustrating there for him. Senna currently attacking in the back of Matahimovic. This is for P8 at the moment. And that will be a net P7 once Snoopy comes in as well. Senna's got good pace here tonight. It's been a very creditable debut indeed. Really impressed with Senna here tonight. There's a Robe here looking down the inside of the Nuts, down the end of the back straight. Is that a move? It is a move which Robe has pulled off brilliantly there. Up into P15 and Nuts, he's got to come in for a drive through anyway soon. But Robe there wasting no time getting ahead of the Ferrari. Snoopy into the pits here at the end of lap 17. One pit stop here in this race. So that just now leaves Leximate Kodalungu, who have both had to, actually, Kodalungu had to do a drive-through. So Leximate, Kodalungu, and the top 3, Tynus, Thomas and Ludo, have all got to come in still. Other than that, everybody's done their mandatory pit stop. Started with 28 drivers here this week. We've got 24 still going, so that's pretty good, actually. Quite often we usually have about 7 or 8 retirements by this point in the race. Only had 4 dropouts so far. That's not bad at all. Been pretty good retention. Oh, it's Matahimovic has got a drive-through. The drive-throughs are being handed out left, right and centre here tonight. The stewards are having an absolute field day. We've got the stewards from the Red Bull Ring have decided to jump in at COTA here tonight. As Senna here now looking to the inside, but Matahimovic closes the door in the background. You've got Matev now attacking on the back of Sean as well. You've got 2 battles going on in the space of a couple of 100 metres here. There's Senna here trying to go for a cutback, but he can't do it because Matev is sending one up the inside of Sean. And there's contact between Matev and Senna, and Matev into the wall. Matev's going to have damage on the front of the car as well. As we can see in the background there, you've got Leximate and Tony Zero coming through. Matev, though, in huge trouble with that one. Senna managing to get through relatively unscathed, but he's now lost out to Sean. And Matimovic still running in 7th place with his drive-through. Sean is the only one who hasn't been massively screwed over in some way or another out of this quartet in the last lap or so. And Sean will be able to pick up P7 here, which I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with. And that's so far, obviously, but Senna will still be there to fight him. Senna, though, with a little bit of damage after that contact with Matev, I would have thought. But a bit of chaos going on there on lap 18. Matimovic is still going to come into the pits here at the end of this lap or maybe the next lap at the end. Some point soon for a drive-through. As Gary's lost out to Robe, so Robe's now in 13th place. Robe continuing to make gains through the pack after a difficult middle stint of the race, or rather middle part of the race, because only 2 stints, but the pit stop phases didn't really go to plan for him at all. Matimovic into the pits here at the end of lap 18. Leximate is also in the pits, so making his mandatory now. So that now just leaves the top 3, Tynus, Thomas and Ludo, to make their mandatory pit stop. Everybody's now come in and tick that box. As Jazzman swoops around the outside of the back marker there at the end of the back straight. Matimovic back out on the track, but it's been a tricky evening for him so far. There's no real other way of putting it. Gap 7 seconds between Tynus and Thomas at the moment. Is Jazzman going to come out in relation to these two? That's going to be the big question here. Pit stop at COTA is about 40 seconds. Stop go that is without changing tyres. Let's keep an eye on that gap between Jazzman and Tynus. So Tynus is 8 seconds ahead of Thomas. Ludo's gap to Jazzman is 16 seconds. Ludo. Let's see what his gap is to Thomas. 19 seconds. So it's about 43 seconds between Tynus and Jazzman. So I reckon at this stage, Jazzman is going to slot in behind Tynus, between Tynus and Thomas. As things stand at the moment, that's obviously before you factor in anything else. PS Vids is 12 seconds behind Jazzman. He is closing on Jazzman, but he's not closing by enough. He's not really making any real impression on him at the moment. I reckon it'll be a battle between Thomas and PS Vids for the podium places. I think Jazzman has a chance at winning this race still. It's going to be, I think, between Tynus and Jazzman for the win here, you know. These two coming from the back, obviously. Jazzman came in for an early pit stop. Tynus did it the hard way, fought his way through the pack. And I reckon it's going to be these two again, battling over the win. We'll have to wait and see. Still a long way to go. Not sure how it's going to pan out with the pit stops. Totally Zero's got another drive-through penalty. So this man has been picking them up no tomorrow. He's going to be fuming with that. He's about a second ahead of Senna at the moment. He's running in 9th. There's Matev, Robe in the background coming into shot. There's Gary. And Totally Zero, his race. To be fair, he'd done quite well. He'd recovered quite well after the first drive-through, but this one's going to set him back even further here. Oh, we've got High Grade here, says, what's good? Knock him down again, because he's got a drive-through earlier on as well. That's true, 2 drive-throughs in one race here for Totally Zero. It's really not gone well. Lexi Mate running in P15. It's been a so-so race from Lexi Mate. Hasn't really done a whole lot wrong. Hasn't really set the world alight either, but has been consistent. That's the most important thing, and on course to score some good points. JR says, I think Tynus is Jazz on the pit stops. Jazz did not get away at the start really. Jazz is now on really old tyres. Tynus had a hell of a start. Yeah, but Tynus is on the same age tyres as Jazz is. He's not going to be changing tyres. It's I think that they'll be the same on tyres. That's not the problem. But Tynus, I think, has got walking out in the lead. He's over 40 seconds ahead, so he is definitely the net race leader. But it's definitely not over. So I think Jazzman can keep Tynus on his toes a little bit. I reckon he'll still be able to give him a fight at the end. He'll still be able to keep him guessing. Tynus is not going to have this one easy. Totally Zero making a move here on Sean into the stadium section. Down the inside he goes. Totally Zero with that drive-through penalty hanging over his head. That's the penultimate corner actually. And into the final corner, Totally Zero gets that job done. Still not coming into the pits to serve that drive-through just yet. Has to do it this time around though. Otherwise he will, I don't think it's a DQ, but I think it's a 80-second penalty or something ridiculous. So there is no advantage to not coming in and doing that drive-through. You might as well get it done. And damage limitation. But Totally Zero leaving it until the last opportunity to do so. Zudo into the pits here at the end of lap 21. So that just now leaves the top two, Tynus and Thomas, to come into the pits before the end of the race, but Ludo finally coming in. So it'll be a stop-go for him. There'll be no tyres, no fuel. This is an example of what happens when a driver comes in and doesn't put any fuel or tyres in the car. You're off and away in about 7 or 8 seconds. There's no lengthy delay, there's no messing about. You're just on and off the jacks and away you go. Keep an eye on Sean because he's got Senna reeling in a little bit. Only 2 seconds between them. Matev also closing in. There's about 4 cars separated by about 5 seconds. Gary's not a million miles away from these either. He's only about 2 seconds behind Robe. So you've got 5 cars separated by about 7 seconds at the moment. If these start to battle, then the ones behind could start to bunch up a bit. Who knows? That could be an interesting end to the race. Goes from 8th down to 12th place there, those drivers. As LOL 3000 has also got a drive-through penalty for track limits, so that's yet another one handed out here tonight. Totally Zero in the pits now to do that drive through, which he got 3 laps ago. Battle here, I was talking about it a few moments ago, it's starting to develop. Sean's kept the gap to Senna, but Matev and Robe have really closed up on Senna here. Not sure if Senna's made a mistake, but Matev having to defend from Robe, but he's trying to attack on Senna at the same time here. As they're coming out onto the back straight, who knows what's going to happen. There could be a move about to be shaped up from one of these drivers here. 3 of them in the line here as they come down this long back straight. You can see that there's the Porsches, the battle of the Porsche slipstreams here, all of them trying to get as much of a tow as they can. As Robe here looking to the inside of Matev down the end of the back straight, and he's going to make that move down the inside, is he? Matev sees him coming, holds it around the outside beautifully there, does Matev. He'll have the inside for the next corner as well. Matev stays ahead of Robe for the time being. Robe tried it, couldn't do it. Matev's still running in P9 at the moment. Drive through everywhere, says Totally Zero. 2 in run race, bud. I've seen it happen before, I can't remember who or when, but you're not the first. Oh no! You're kidding me. Of all people, Jazzman has gone and picked up a drive through. Next thing, you'll be telling me Tynus has got one. Jazzman here has picked up his 4th track limit violation, which is obviously, as everyone knows who plays ACC, gets you the drive through penalty. Oh man, that is a turnout. I don't think I've ever seen Jazzman pick up a drive through penalty ever before. I suppose all of those passes he's having to make earlier on, all of that pushing, it's led him to explore limits that he wouldn't have usually had to pursue. But Jazzman will have to come into the pits at some point over the next 3 laps, and that may have just given Tynus what he needs here. PS Vids is continuing to close on Jazzman. Gap now only 10 seconds between those two, but he's not closing by enough, I don't think, unless the others' tyres start to absolutely fall off the cliff. Tynus and Thomas's tyres completely fall off, and PS Vids might have a chance of coming back at them in the closing stages, but it would take some monumental effort in these final few laps. Noel 3000 driving through the pits, doing his drive-through penalty there for that track limits violation a few laps ago. Jazzman's still yet to do his, and he's currently coming through the S's, so he's gone past the pits since getting that drive-through, so he's not opted to get it done and out of the way. Senna still just ahead of Matev, Robe. This trio still battling over 8th place. Matev thought he'd been passed by Robe on the previous lap. Robe couldn't make it stick. Late on the brakes there into the stadium section, but too far away. These 3 have got a bit of traffic up ahead of them here. Not sure who it is just yet, but we'll be seeing it will become clearer in a second. It's Glenn there who's just in front of them. Currently running in P23. Well off the racing line and allows these guys through. So Senna, Matev. Oh, Matev there's gone wide, and that's allowed Robe through. Robe up into 9th place. Matev, I think, a bit distracted by the back marker there, and just got offline a little bit. Robe there moving through. Didn't need a second invitation. Can Matev come back at him into turn 1? No, he's too far back. Now Robe might try and have a crack at Senna for 8th place. And these guys, this trio are not far behind Sean at all, who's running in 7th place. So maybe this might be a 4-way battle for 7th in a minute. Could be a 5-way battle for 7th, because Gary is also closing in on them as well. So Senna, Robe and Matev all closing in on Shaw, but Gary is closing in on all of them. This race far from over. Oh, Robe's got a drive through now as well. Who's next? Spin a wheel. Who's going to be next? Come on, somebody. Say it in the comments. Who's going to be the next driver to get a drive through? Who's it going to be next? Come on, let's put the curse. Let's have a bit of fun here. Jazzman is now coming into the pits to do that drive through penalty. Totally zero. You're kidding me. Are you kidding me? Oh man. He's had 2 already. This is his 3rd drive through. Oh, totally zero. What's going on, man? What is going on, son? James Harris, who's winning? Tynus is currently leading. He's still got to do a pit stop. PS Fids has got fresh tyres. Tynus is on old worn tyres, so PS Fids will have the advantage once Tynus has to come in and do his mandatory pit stop. But Tynus doesn't have to change tyres, so he'll spend less time in the pit box. But it'll be close between Tynus and PS Fids, I think, come the end. Robe into the pits now to do that drive-through penalty. That's taking him out of that equation there. It's now leaving Senna and Matev to fight it out. Gary is now right with them. You can see just over a second behind. There they go into turn 1. There's Gary on the rear now of that of those guys. Obviously it was a trio before, and it's a trio again with Gary. Essentially, Robe's ducked out of it due to his drive-through and has been replaced by Gary. Robe in the pits, so is totally zero, both of them to do their drive-through penalties. Jazzman only dropped down to P4 after his drive-through, so obviously there was a big gap between the top 4 and everyone else, so Jazzman only lost 1 position after coming in and doing a drive-through penalty. I'm rooting for PS Fids, says James Harris. Currently PS Fids is he's putting in some good lap times here on his fresher tyres. Obviously he came in at the halfway point, one of the few drivers to come in and change tyres. Lots of them did a full tank strategy where you don't change tyres, but PS Fids opted for that strategy, and let's see how it's going to work out at the end here. Could be close. I mean, it might not be close. I don't know how much time you lose in the pit stops here at COTA, so it could be a case of Tynus could come out 10-15 seconds clear of him. We just don't know at this point. Matev with a very heavily damaged Porsche there. He's now got the other Porsche, Gary, closing up on him. Senna's just cleared them by about a second here over the course of this lap, but he's got a bit of traffic in front of him. No, it's not traffic, sorry, it's Sean. So they are now closing him right onto the back of Sean here. I've been mentioning over the last few laps about how Sean could potentially be on the radar of these drivers who are all battling it with each other, and now Sean is very much falling back into their clutches here, so this could be a chance here for Senna to move himself up into 7th place. This is now going to be a 4-way battle here for 7th place. It would have been a 5-way battle if Robe hadn't got that drive-through penalty, but obviously because of that it's dropped him back a fair bit. Stewards don't like me, says Totally Zero. Yeah, they must be racist. Tynus into the pits here at the end of lap 26. I think he's too far ahead on the PS Fids. I don't think PS Fids is close enough. Tynus is currently in the box, he's off and away. Thomas coming in now. PS Fids is just coming to the stadium section, and Tynus is already off the limit. Well, he's still on the limit, but he's out of his pit box and he's on his way towards the end of the pits now. PS Fids coming through the final few corners. Tynus is going to come out with the lead, and he's going to come out with a very comfortable lead at that as well. Jazzman's drive-through, I think, pretty much put paid to a chance of a Singer battle for the win. But Tynus in the house has played an absolute blinder with the strategy here tonight. He's come out with a healthy lead. PS Fids just coming into the final corner now. Tynus in the house coming through turn 1. PS Fids coming through to the final corner, up towards the start-finish line. So that is a big gap that Tynus has got. I reckon 15 seconds between Tynus and PS Fids here, maybe a bit more. Maybe 20 seconds between these two. So Tynus in the house is going to bring it home for a comfortable win here at Circuit of the Americas, barring any major catastrophes in the final couple of laps here. what a job this man has done from the back of the grid. Once again, has just pulled out the stops and completely obliterated anybody in his path. In the meantime, Senna is still continuing to hassle the back of Sean for 7th place. Matev right there with these as well. Gary waiting in the wings there. In 10th place, has dropped off for them a little bit over the course of this lap. Has he made a mistake somewhere on this lap so far? Sean, though, hanging on by the skin of his teeth here. He's got a charging pack behind him here. They're with hot pursuit as they come to the final sector here on lap 26 of the race. But Sean's still hanging in there at the moment. One little mistake and these three are going to be there to pounce. As Matev looking down the inside into the final corner. He goes for it there, gets a good exit as well. Side by side here as Senna and Matev here coming over the start-finish line. You can see Senna on the outside, Matev on the inside. Senna slightly ahead as they come over the line. Matev, though, inside line, looking down the inside into turn 1. He's going to try and make that move. Senna trying to keep the grip around the outside. The outside is where it's very advantageous here at turn 1 at COTA, and Senna manages to keep onto that one. Has the inside for turn 2 as well. Should be able to squeeze Matev out. Matev here has to tuck in for the time being. Senna still running in 8th place at the moment. That's given Sean a bit of a reprieve there, running in 7th place. So it's given him a bit of time just to get himself back together again. Senna, Matev and Gary still battling over 8th, 9th and 10th places here. But Sean still running in P7 at the moment by the skin of his teeth here. Final few laps here at COTA. In the meantime, Robe closing up onto the back of Matahimovic. This is for 11th place at the moment. Totally Zero's attacking on the back of the Mutsnuts as well in the closing stages of the race. Low 3000 is on the back of Kodalungu as well. Kodalungu with a drive-through in this race really cost him quite a lot of positions. He would have been embedded well in the mid-pack if it wasn't for that. But as it is, running in 18th place, it's not been the race for him. And it could be about to lose another one if Low 3000 gets past him here. Totally Zero still on the back of the Mutsnuts. Matimovic still coming under pressure here from Robe. Gary's now ahead of Senna and has got himself into 8th place, so he's made that move through the first sector there. But he's over a second behind Sean, so Gary's got ahead of Matev and Senna on this lap. So Gary on a bit of a charge here. As we see a lap car moving well out of the way. Is Gary going to have a crack here at Sean? I think we're going to have 2 more laps here for these guys, because I believe Tynus is going to start another lap after this one. So it's going to be 2 more laps, I think, for these drivers. So Gary has got a chance to close up onto the back of Sean here. Is he going to take that chance? There's Gary, there's Senna. Matev in the background ahead of Matimovic. Senna trying to come back at Gary. Looks like Sean's pulled a bit of a gap to these guys over the last sort of lap or so. 1.4 now is gap to Gary. Senna trying to get this position back off of Gary in the final stages of this race. Where's Tynus? Are we going to have another lap? We are going to have another lap. Tynus comes over the line to start the 30th lap of this race. As Senna still trying to grab this position back off of Gary. Sean 1.2 the gap to these two. Lap and a half left to go in this race for these guys. Jeff the O-Dog saying, come on PS Fids. PS Fids 20 seconds behind Tynus. Tynus I think has got this race in the bag unless he bins it on this final lap. Senna closing in on the back of Gary down the end of the back straight with the damage on his car, still not letting that hold him back. It's obviously affected his performance quite a bit in this race. Had the pace of the front runners in qualifying. It was an incredible job he did in the before the race, but nonetheless it's been a really strong debut from him here tonight. Take nothing away from him at all. So this is 4 of them here for 7th place. Sean, Gary, Senna and Matev. What's going to happen here on this final lap? They're about to start their final lap. Tynus is halfway around his. And he's coming into the stadium section here for the final time. Let's get back to this battle here as they come out of the final corner. Is there going to be a move down the start-finish straight between these 4 drivers? Let's keep an eye. Sean's got over a second to Gary, Senna and Matev in hot pursuit. Matev very close to the back of Senna here. In fact, Matev's got ahead of Senna. Senna's dropped down to P10. Matev now in 9th place coming into turn 1, so Matev's got that one done. Senna falling a little bit back in the closing stages here. Tynus in the meantime though is coming into the final couple of corners. He started in 24th place in this race and he's coming out the final corner here at Motive with a 20-second lead. He's made light work of everything in front of him tonight. Tynus in the house coming over the line. The 3-time champion of the GT3 Championship takes the win here tonight at Circuit of the Americas. Congratulations Tynus in the house. He's absolutely knocked it out of the park here. Didn't take a moment to breathe over the course of that race. Totally Zero and the Mutt-Snuts coming over the line. They've taken the checkered flag a lap down each in 13th and 14th places. Hypertech 2 laps down in 23rd. Remster a lap down, 15th. Snoopy comes over the line just after him. Those two coming over the line together there. PS Vids crossed the line in 2nd place. A creditable drive from PS Vids on his return to Motive. His first appearance actually this season as well. So good to see him getting back into some decent form. Thomas on the podium, Jazzman 4th with his drive-through penalty, costing him a place. Error Codes finished the race a lap down in 17th place. Scooter Paul 2 laps down, 24th. Lolpy and Codlingu both a lap down in 18th and 19th places. Lexi Mate over the line 20th. A few stragglers here coming through the stadium section. Ludo will be next driver over the line in 5th place. Only a couple of seconds ahead of Archie. Archie doing what he does, just getting some good points, keeping out of trouble, coming in for that early pit stop and picking up the pieces. Ludo P5, Archie over in P6. Good to see. Gary attacking on Sean, but Gary's got a drive through on the final lap of the race. He's going to have to come in. Is it going to count though? It's Silverstone 98. Schumacher finishing the race in the pit lane. Is it going to count as his drive through? Sean comes over to take the checkered flag in 7th place. Matev over in 8th. Gary has got 30 seconds added to his race time as he comes over in 9th. That will drop him down a bit. And Senna comes over in P10. That's surely going to drop him behind Senna, you would have thought. Or is it? I don't know. Senna P10, Matimovic 11th, Robe 12th. Those two, Matimovic and Robe, didn't cross the line, but they're classified in 11th and 12th places. So Tyler's taking a win here tonight ahead of PS Fids and Thomas. Gary with his 30-second penalty. I think that should have been lower than that, but because Matimovic and Robe didn't cross the line, he's classified in P10. No, technically I didn't cross the line, so actually, you know what? No, that's fair. They didn't cross the line, so he is rightfully P10. They completed one less lap, but they completed more. They completed that lap before Totally Zero did, so they finished 11th and 12th despite having not completed a lap since the checkered flag was waved. And yeah, so that is that then. Gary did lose a place, but Tynus, PS Vids and Thomas, your podium finishers. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to the drivers for watching this back afterwards. James Harris, good night. Andrew, thanks for the stream. But yeah, thanks to the drivers for watching this back afterwards. If you did enjoy them, feel free to share it with your friends, family members and otherwise associates. And we'll see you in the next one for round 5 of the GT3 Championship. Join us at the same time as always. We'll be live at 8:30 PM UK time for round 5 of the season, where we will be at Misano for that one. So yeah, tune in for that. Also, we'll be live on Tuesday night for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Wednesday, I'm going to do a bit of Gran Turismo 7, just public lobbies, do a bit of commentating. Thursday, back for Purple Sector again. Friday will be Motives F1 League. Saturday, might jump in some public lobbies, not sure. And then obviously next Sunday, you know the drill. But thanks ever so much, guys. We will see you all very soon. Take it easy. And yeah, good night.